and welcome back. Today we're doing something a little bit different. I've been a bit short for time lately and I'm going out for dinner tonight, and so I don't know, my dad offered to help me, and so he's doing my voiceover tonight. He's here with me. I've attempted to build his childhood home. I don't know, I've done my best with what I can, but yeah, so I'm gonna hand it over to him now. Here he is.
Okay, hi everyone. At this stage, it doesn't really look so much like my family home. We had a roof on our house, but I expect we'll get there. We've got some nice grey walls happening and a window. They're also very popular things in houses. Lots of rushing round with a white pointer. It's all coming together. The house that I had, that I lived in when I was a child, was actually was built brand new, and I didn't get to see it built. We lived quite a way away, and then when I was about 4 or so, we moved up there into the mountains. This house is not in the mountains. However, I've been reliably informed that houses in mountains is not a possibility in this version of The Sims. So I'll try to hide my disappointment about that. However, we do have lots of lovely trees, and oh yes, there's the roof going on now, and it's looking semi-complete, almost there. I'm curious to see what else we're going to get. Although the house, when we first moved into it, I mean, it was in the middle of the bush. There was nowhere, there was no gardens. It was all very rough and dodgy, and but that's okay. I did have some photos out, and I have to say we just look like farm urchins wandering around in the bush, all dirty, and probably playing cowboys and Indians, which was a popular thing in those days. It's just going a bit too fast for me. I can't quite work out where is where in this house yet. I'm hoping that one of them is going to be my room. I'd be disappointed if I wasn't included.
I did try to include your room. I had to kind of guess what you had in your room as a child.
Well, there was no elephants, I'll tell you that.
Gosh.
I did have a bed, though. I was a privileged child.
Well.
And I did have a nice tree outside. Well, that probably came a little bit later. It was a hibiscus with nice pink flowers.
Oh, okay. Well, there's no pink flowers in this.
Oh, dear.
It's orange ones.
Orange ones. Well, orange is one of my favourite colours, so that's good. And this is actually the slightly later version of the house. We didn't have the second garage when I first moved in there, and I remember a terrible time when I had to open the garage, and I put the key in the door and I left it in the door, and I pushed it up, and then it got bent over and stuck, and I just ran crying. I was like, oh my God, this is terrible. I'm like, no, it's okay, we can just straighten it out. So it was not too bad. But that was one of my early childhood traumas. So
How has that affected you later in life? Are you traumatized about keys?
Well, I only just thought about it, and I am actually fairly careful with keys, so maybe that was sort of long lasting. So be careful what you do when you're opening a garage door. It could have serious consequences later on in your life.
There you go, guys. Mentally scarred for life.
I can see we're working on the backyard now, and I'm hoping that we're going to be getting a sand pit. I did mention it earlier on as being somewhat important. And the reason it's important is that I have one of my earliest memories is of playing in the sand pit. Well, not just playing. I was there with my sister, and she made this big sand pie, and I really wanted to impress her by how much I liked it. So I started to eat it, and I had all this sand in my mouth, and I was like, bah, bah, bah. So I'm not sure if I actually helped her or if I traumatized her by thinking that her cooking was inedible. And I don't know whether I had to go and wash my mouth out, but I can remember the sand. It was quite unpleasant.
We did kind of put a sandpit in. We've passed it already. But you can't really do proper sandpits in The Sims 4, so we've just used the terrain paint tool to put sand there, so it's like it's in the sand.
Oh, okay. Well, what are kids meant to play in though?
They don't. EA needs to step up their game.
Mm.
They don't have many kids' toys. You got a dollhouse, and you got a teddy bear and a toy box and a little bear to play doctors with. But that's about it.
Oh, well, just give them an iPad. They'll be all right. Don't worry about playing outside.
It's
Real
only
toys.
it's only available for toddlers.
Oh, I can see we've got some cars in the garage now. This is excitement. And it's also somewhat misleading because those cars are nothing at all like our first car. We had an old blue Morris, and it was, how my friend would describe it, would be a noddy car. It was really, I don't know, small and weird and slow.
We don't actually have cars in The Sims 4, so there's actually toys, but they've got to cheat to size objects up so it's a toy car, but sized up to look like a real car. It's a builder trick.
Oh, sounds like you know all the tricks.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe.
I think you'd be horrified though to see the old car, but that's probably not really that exciting for those sim lovers. And I can see we've got some funky lino in the kitchen there. I hate to say it, but the lino we had was probably even daggier than that. You've got to think 70s lino with weird pattern on it and green and I don't know if it was green and brown, but it was
Wow.
pretty weird, yeah.
So this is probably one of the first time you've seen any of my content. How are you liking my building skills, Dad?
It's all happening so fast. I'm just sort of struggling to take it in. My eyes and my brain's just not wired for such speed.
It's sped up to 650% because
Oh,
I normally only do it to 500, but I figured you probably wouldn't be up for like a 25-minute voiceover. So I was like, let's just speed it up a bit more for the old man.
well, for us oldies, you need to slow it down. You probably should have slowed it down to 50% of the speed so I didn't have time to take it all in.
Well, you can watch the screenshots at the end. They'll be a bit slower. It'll
Okay.
just be pictures of the rooms. I haven't actually edited in the file we're watching right now because I haven't even taken them. But that happens afterwards. It's part of the magic.
Oh, the magic, yes. The magic of these modern day computers, yes.
Exactly.
Oh dear. I don't think we didn't really have computers back in my day. That's how long ago it was.
Well, I'm really sorry because I put a study in up behind the kind of living room because there was just this big empty space and I couldn't handle it. I had to take some creative freedom with your home because
What?
you see, well, it would be a bit boring if there was just a big empty room and I couldn't just leave all this empty space. So there's probably a couple more decorations and plants around and the study, which does actually have computers, but I did like old school computers, like, I don't know, they looked old to me.
Well, it wasn't until I was like 13 or 14 that we actually got a phone in the house. We had to rely on our neighbour's phone. If there was an emergency, someone would phone our neighbour and say,
Wow.
run next door and get these people. But I don't think it ever happened. We just never used the phone. It was just you worked out what you needed to do when you saw people and, you didn't have to check that you were still going to meet them for lunch. You just went there and if they weren't there, you wandered around the shops. You just dealt with it.
Wow.
That's how we rolled.
That sounds very different to today.
And then, of course, flat screen TV as well.
Oh, yeah.
Back in my day, TVs had big legs. They were like their own bit of furniture.
Yeah.
And they took like a minute to warm up, and it was black and white, and then you had to actually turn the
Oh.
dial on them to sort of tune in exactly to
Did you
the
really have to
station.
wait for them to turn on?
Yes.
Wow. Well, yeah, they didn't have any older TVs. Those are the computers I was talking
Oh,
about.
yes, I saw them.
They're a bit old looking, aren't they?
Oh, I guess so. They're kind of like the first computers that we had at school. And it was like, I think they had one there, and we all sort of gathered round it, and we're like, oh, how does this work? And we're like, how do we put commands into it? Like, type, push buttons. And then we're like, what? Nothing's happening. And we couldn't work out the syntax for the command. So
Wow.
we spent like 20 minutes staring at this thing, and we couldn't get it to actually do anything useful. And then that was probably when I was in year 9, but and then in my last year of school, they got a computer lab, which was pretty exciting. We had maybe 8 computers, but I don't think I was ever allowed in there. That was for the advanced students.
Were you not an advanced student?
Not that advanced, no.
Oh, okay. I thought you liked maths.
I did, yes, but it was kind of access was fairly limited to the computers. Maybe they just got them to sort of help sell the school. They didn't actually have any students in there. They just showed them to the parents. Oh yes, send your child to our school. We've got this amazing computer lab. It always looks so clean because we never have anyone in it, but that's okay.
Oh, well, that seems legit.
It is. Well, I don't know. Maybe it was because they had a booby trap. Well, not really a booby trap, but like I vaguely remember the computer lab. But what I do remember is just outside there was the most horrible incident for this child at high school.
Oh.
There was a big drain thing, and he was just walking along in his fancy school uniform, and the drain broke, and he fell down to his waist, and he got like covered in, I was going to say excrement, but I don't know if it would have been, but
Oh my
he was
goodness.
filthy dirty, and it's like, I think they had to hose him off and then put him on the
Oh.
train to send him home because,
Poor boy.
I know, these are the things you had to deal with.
And he had to go home on the train.
You didn't have pretty pink toys like that.
Well, this is, I imagine, your older sister's room. We're not going to say her name because we're,
Yes.
privacy reasons. But,
We didn't have cute toys like that.
well,
We just were given an ice cream container and told to play with that. That's
well, the green room's yours, so you can tell me how accurate I was in the type of things I thought you might have in your room. I did, a science table for you to tinker and a
Oh, yes.
bookcase, and we had a couple toys. I figured you'd have a nice green chair. I did the computer chair because you did mention one time you came home with a big fancy chair. I don't know if it was green, but
no.
I figured we'd stick with the green theme.
Yes, no, that's nice. I did have a big fancy chair, yes. And I did have a science kit to experiment with. I think I was more concerned with trying to blow things up or to make fiery reactions. So it was a little bit of a disappointment to me. Although we did make a volcano in school, which is probably another story. That was quite fun.
Okay.
As far as toys go, well, I had my ice cream container with a bit of string so I could pull it round. Like, we weren't that backwards,
Well, in The Sims, the chemistry stations, they can actually explode and stuff. So there's a fire alarm in your room just in case you do explode it as a child.
Fair enough. But no, look, I wasn't that much into chemistry. I was more into, building boats. And by boats, I mean a single bit of wood with a stick poked into it as a mast.
Oh, okay. I didn't put any boats in your room. I put a little robot light next to your bedside dresser because I figured you might have built a little robot man.
Oh, yes, robots and space age stuff. That was big when I was young. That It was exciting because it wasn't that long ago that people had first gone to the moon.
Wow.
Yeah, it was space age was it. We were hype.
That's very cool. Oh gosh. This is your grandmother's room. I didn't really know what to
Yes.
put in here because in the plan you drew me, there was a chair and a TV and just a big empty room. So I had to kind of use my imagination here, and so I put lots of books in here because
Yes, she didn't have so many books in that room. That was more when she was sort of still with her partner. He had a lot of books. She had a sewing machine. She used to do a lot of sewing in there. And
oh, we don't have sewing in the Sims.
what?
We'll have to write to EA. You can do that if you like.
I know. Well, no sand pits, no sewing machines.
You know, they might be releasing seasons tomorrow, the actual trailer.
Oh.
I know, it's exciting. Our video is coming to an end though, so thank you all for watching. There's some screenshots coming up that you can all check out, and I hope you enjoyed having the dad voiceover. And the screenshots have already started, so thank you all for watching. You can get the house on the gallery, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye!
Bye.